So I'm sure a lot of you aren't up as late as I am. Right now it is midnight and I just finished watching the latest episode of Big Brother, and I figured why not get this review done so I don't have to get up super early and do it. Yeah. So I'm Sage Valentine. Hey guys, and this is my review of Big Brother Season 21, Episode number 7. So let's just get down to it. Pretty much Jack nominated Kimmy and Jessica because it was the best move for his game, and both of them would put him up. It was a good move for his game, and they would put him up. But that's not the initial reason why he nominated them. It is the reason that he's hiding behind. But that's not the initial reason why. The initial reason why will never be aired on TV. You're just going to have to check social media to find out why. But it is not what you think. Jess wants to win veto, and she's upset that someone is giving Jack the wrong information, Bella. Kimmy said she's going to win the veto and make him shook. He's shook already. Hell, Grateful is shook already because they seem to be blaming, well, last weekend they were blaming Kimmy for just about everything. The Alliance was questioning themselves. It's Kimmy's fault. Somebody walked over a crack. It's Kimmy's fault. Somebody had gas. It was Kimmy's fault. Somebody saw a bird and the bird pooped on him. It was Kimmy's fault. I'm joking about some of those things I just said. But anyway, Bella told Nicole that she had to tell Jack about the Black Widows. I remember when I found out that she told all about that alliance, and I'm just like, why? What was the reason for that? Like, you couldn't keep that for maybe a day or so? I don't get it. Bella just runs her mouth just to run her mouth. It's not even a strategic standpoint. It's just like she can't hold water at all in this game. She thinks it's funny, by the way, that she has a big mouth. I'm just like, that big mouth is going to get you out of this game. As soon as Jack and Jackson reach the end of their list, Bella, you and Nick will be targeted. And more than likely, Nick will turn the pistol towards you so that you will take the brunt of everything that happened. Because I feel like, and I've noticed some things about Nick and Bella, and Nick is not that into Bella like she thinks he is. Nicole was pissed that Bella told about the Black Widows because she's just like, dude, if either Jess or Kimmy wins the veto, you or I are going up on the block, Bella. Like, what are you thinking? I'm saying the same thing. Like, what the hell was she thinking? Again, she can't hold water. So Kimmy has a conversation with Jack, and that edit made it seem like it was kind of a shallow conversation, but it really wasn't. There was a lot more to that conversation than you think it was, which is why you got to watch the feeds too, so you can get a bird's eye view of the conversation rather than the edit, because there's only so much they can put in each segment. But Kimmy tells Jack that she wants to clear the air, and if I remember correctly, she said that she didn't want to target Jack. He is not on her radar. And I think Jackson isn't on her radar either. That's what she told Jack. But then the diary room segment shows us finding out that she does want to target him. I mean, obviously you would want to target Jack if he targeted you. That's a given. And Jack says that he respects Kimmy, which is a lie because he's always talking crap behind her back and saying some very nasty things about her. Just look online or ask some people on Twitter and they'll tell you all about things that he said about Kimmy. There's some vile things. And he says that she scares him. A woman with no power in this game scares him. Man, when Jack is finally nominated, that's going to be some serious feed footage to watch and a serious episode to watch. Jack basically gives Kimmy an opportunity to win the game back by not blindsiding her. And Kimmy says to us in her diary room segment that she really hates Jack. And I'm like, sweetie, you're not alone, because a lot of people on social media hate him. I feel like hate is a strong word. I don't like him at this point. I don't like how he's playing this game. It would be different if he was playing strategically, but it seems like he has some sort of vendetta, and I've said it before. People have disagreed with me. I know on TV Koah I was talking to another host named Erin Veal, and she agreed that there's something personal going on with Jack and his vendetta against Kemi. There's something strange about that. So Nicole tells Jessica that Bella ratted out the Black Widows to Jack, and Jessica is just furious because she also learns from Nicole that Bella, right now, after telling Jack, looks good to him, but Kemi, Jess, and Nicole are in danger. Jessica's pissed. She really wants to win the veto. Too bad that doesn't happen. Now, David has the entire house pegged. He knows what's going on. He basically knows about the big alliance. I think at that point he didn't know about the name. I'm not entirely sure about that. But he knew there was a big alliance and that there's a group of people outside of said alliance. My issue with David is that now, because he's not playing the game and he's sitting back and he's watching, he's kind of like us, the viewers, and us, the feed watchers and the social media watchers. Like, we can see what's going on. So it's easier to be outside looking in than looking in and being inside and looking out, if you get what I'm saying. So hopefully if he's the one chosen to get back in this game, he actually plays well, because it would be a disaster if he returned to the game and he flopped. But anyway, David has the house figured out. He knows that Jack and Jackson are the big two, and their second in command is Holly and Annalise, and then there's Nick and Christy, and Tommy's a likable guy. He did not mention Bella, though, in that scenario that he was talking about as far as the TV show. And he said that Nick and Bella have some sort of relationship. Cliff, Kimmy, and Jess don't know what's going on. Of course not, because they're in the middle of this and they don't see all the conversations and catch the tea that he has. So they think everything is kind of hunky-dory, so to speak. And Sam is the wild card. Now, he's the true wild card of the house, because you never know what Sam's thinking. That's why the idea of him winning a veto or winning vetoes puts a target on him, a major one. Now, David said that when he comes back to the house, he wants to cause chaos. For those of you who do not have the feeds, OV takes all the information that David tells him and runs back to Grateful and tells, like, Jack and tells Jackson. He just runs his mouth as well. Then we get a segment about the earthquake, although I was watching the feeds when it started shaking, and when they were in that little tiny room, I forgot what it was called, I think it's the ship room, I was watching the feeds at that point, and then they all got up and they ran out. Christy was talking about, I live in New Jersey, I'm not used to this. I'm like, Christy, I guess you just moved to New Jersey, because New Jersey did have an earthquake. And it happened in 2011. And we felt the aftershocks, and that was the scariest thing I've ever felt in my life. I was at my cousin's house. She used to live in, in South Amboy. This was years ago. And I was sitting there in her house. I was dog sitting, and the house started shaking. And I was like, holy crap, what is going on? And I looked on the news, and lo and behold, it was an earthquake. A lot of people were making fun of us, people from New Jersey, because we were scared. Dude, if you've never felt an earthquake and you feel something like that, you think that the sky is falling. It's that scary. Alrighty, so David and Ovi are made to wear these camp comeback uniforms that look like Cub Scout uniforms. They're actually cute. I think David looks cute in his. Jess is talking to Jackson. She becomes emotional. I feel like at times her tears are used to make people feel bad for her, to keep her in the game. It's a part of her strategy. And Jackson doesn't want her to go. He says he wants to help her. She's close to him. She's like a mother to him. And she hopes that he will use the veto on her. Now, when I found out that she chose him for the veto competition, I was like, come again? She chose who? So when he didn't deliver as far as the veto, I was like, dude, you really expected him to deliver? And there were people on like Twitter saying, well, you know, you can't get mad at Jessica because Jessica thought she could trust him. Like, dude, Jackson is with Jack. So those two are going to work together. So why would you think he would save you? I don't understand why she would think that. No. And I used to think that Jack was the brawn of the operations, whereas Jackson was the brains. I'm starting to see it flip, and I'm starting to see that Jack is the brain to Jackson's Pinky. You know, Pinky and the Brain, little cartoon mice, where the Brain was the smarter one and Pinky was kind of the dopey one. He had his moments, but he was kind of dopey. I'm not saying that Jackson is dopey, but I'm saying, like, Jack is the brains of the operation. So it was time to pick players for the veto competition. Jack chose Bella. Kimmy chose Sam, and I'm just like, out of all the names to pick out, and how did she end up picking up Sam? Jess had house guest choice, and of course she chose Jackson. David was shocked that Jess chose Jackson. I'm like, shoot, everybody on social media was shocked as well. David's like, people have zero idea what's going on in this Big Brother house. Of course, because they're not on the outside looking in. They are experiencing this. Once they get in the camp comeback, then they're going to see what's happening and say, oh, shoot. So this is why this was happening, and this is why this was happening. So Kimmy says, you know what, whatever is meant to happen will happen. She's by herself. She's putting on makeup. She wants to win the veto and watch Jess cry some more. Now, I'm sure some people took that the wrong way. What you have to understand is that Jessica was going around, like, kind of crying and being very emotional, and it was getting on some of the house guests' nerves and some people on Twitter as well. And I guess they were saying that that was a part of her strategy. I wouldn't be surprised, because right now in the game it seems like Jessica's safe, so I wouldn't be surprised. Tyler comes to visit to host the veto competition, and everyone's excited. I'm just like, Tyler's hair girl. Listen, I don't have anything bad to say about Tyler, because clearly he and Bailey have mended fences. So if Bailey forgave him, then it is what it is. So Sam essentially ends up winning the veto. He had 18 frogs that he piled up, and he won the trip to Fiji. I think if that trip to Fiji hadn't been linked with that veto, I don't think Sam would have tried that hard to win the veto. And of course, Jackson threw the competition. I knew he would. I knew there was no way in hell he was going to try to win that comp. No, ma'am. So Sam has a ton of power, and he's annoyed by it. And I'm just like, dude, then you shouldn't have won the veto, because that's what happens when you win the veto. Kat comes to Sam, and she's scared that if Sam uses the veto, she'll end up on the block. And then Kimmy walked in the room, and there's a really funny scene. Jessica wants him to use the veto on her, and then she starts crying and becoming a bit emotional. And then Nicole's in the room, and she's drinking water, sipping through that straw. And I was laughing like, Jessica, are you catching the hint that there's somebody else in the room? Unless, of course, Big Brother added that sound effect with the straw, the sucking on the straw, but yeah. So Kimmy essentially ends up asking him to use the veto on her, and he said that if he used the veto, it would 110% be on you, but it's too early in the game. Is it too early in the game? Because it seems like this game is moving a mile a minute, because we've literally been watching, 7 episodes so far, and honestly it feels like a whole month and a half has passed, considering everything that's happening on feeds wise, or happening in the house that I've seen via the feeds. So Sam learns that his grandfather died, and he was crying in the diary room, and he tells everyone about it, and they hug him and they comfort him. And I don't know if I would be able to continue to play the game knowing that my grandparent or a family member had died. I lost my grandparents on both sides all before 2013, so one of which actually died before I was even born. So I understand that loss, but I don't know if I'd be able to stay in that house to play the game. I would guess I'd have to ask Big Brother, like, can I return for another season or something? Because I really need to, you know, deal with this. Or put me on an all-star season or a second chances season or something. I don't know if I could stay in that game. And essentially, Sam decides not to use the veto. And I'm not even surprised. I didn't expect him to save Kimmy or save Jessica, even as social media was like, oh, he's going to save Kimmy. Oh, he's going to save Jess. Oh, he's going to do this. I'm just like, he may not do anything. I was saying to myself. He said that he's in the game for him and his family only. I'm like, of course, everybody's in this game for themselves. Essentially, Kimmy and Jessica are upset. He says he loves them, but he doesn't want to make ripples. He wants to keep nominations the same and make the HOH happy. I'm like, this is not how Big Brother is played. I think this has been the strategy since season 16 down, but no, these house guests need to start watching seasons earlier than season 16. Because what the house wants is not going to help you win the game. Jack is happy that his plan is on schedule. It's smooth sailing. Nicole has to keep someone who will help her. She's upset that both of her friends are on the block. Jessica will keep talking to people and will rally for votes. Kimmy says she's scrappy, so don't count her out. Tommy says Grateful has to decide who to send out of the house and who to keep. And this decision might come to bite them on the behind. Now, the last time I checked social media while I was watching Scream Resurrection, season 3 of the Scream TV series that aired on VH1, it seemed like everybody was set to send Kimmy to Camp Comeback. Will this end up biting him in the butt? Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are just like, people are upset because Kimmy's nominated because you're all stan. I stan no one in this season. I just don't like how Kimmy was nominated based on Bella's lies and nobody even tried to approach Kimmy, and Jack spews all this hatred. Jackson spews all this hatred, and it's just completely getting out of hand at this point. And Big Brother is not doing anything other than slapping them on the wrist or telling them, stop that, instead of giving them a penalty. I get that this show is a social experiment, but with a social experiment, you don't necessarily have to make it so that these house guests have to deal with the same prejudices and racism that they deal with outside of the house. That should go out the window at this point. That shouldn't even be a part of the game. But I've been saying this for years, and Big Brother hasn't changed, so nothing I can do. But I will be back again tomorrow so we can chat all about episode 8 and Kimmy's whole like introduction to Camp Comeback, unless something happens and the house gets changed their minds, because they seem to be doing that, because they seem to be up in the air every 5 minutes. Just craziness ensuing on those feeds. But anyway, guys, I love you all. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. And to my TV Co fans and those who want to join TV Co, it is a free app. You just sign up and you can sit down and you can watch me chat about Big Brother, and you can kind of like chime in and chat with me, and you can leave your comments and stuff. It's all free. The link is in my description box. Leave me some comments and let me know what you thought of tonight's episode and what you think of the season so far. Me personally, I'm just like, let's get to this next episode. And I'm looking forward to the moment when Jack is on the block and to see how he reacts, because clearly he is frightened of being put on the block. And then something else happened. Pictures of his ex-girlfriend popped up, and Jack in the house had a bad dream about his ex-girlfriend not wanting him anymore. Jack has a lot of fears. Big Brother will bring out those fears very soon. And I hope Tommy and Christy are comfy. I hope they're ready, because the tea will be spilt on their bond very, very soon. Love you all. Bye, guys. Bye.